I was erased from my daughter's life with a single phone call. The words still burned as I clutched the phone, waiting for Lila, my only child, to answer. My heart raced, not unlike the moments before a life-altering presentation decades ago. Surely, she'd pick up, her voice warm with news to bridge the weeks of silence. When she answered, I asked softly, "When's the wedding, sweetheart?" A pause. Then her tone, cold and cutting. "We tied the knot yesterday. Just for close family." The phone felt like ice against my ear. For years of footing their bills, rent, groceries, car repairs, even cash for crises, all poured from a mother's love. I'd told myself it was the cost of keeping Lila near. Now, close family sliced through me like a blade. In my bedroom, a coral dress hung in its plastic sheath, bought for a day I'd envisioned beaming beside her. It now mocked me, a prop for a role I'd never play. Memories flooded in. Lila at 6, clinging to me during a storm, whispering, "You're my safe place, Mommy." Those words curdled now, bitter as spoiled wine. The phone buzzed again. My cousin, Sarah, from Michigan, her voice bright. "How was Lila's big day?" I choked out a vague reply about an intimate ceremony, the lie sour on my tongue. I couldn't admit the truth, not yet. That night, sleep evaded me, grief and shame twisting into a single, suffocating knot. Close family echoed, each repetition hollowing me further. By dawn, the coral dress still hung, a silent marker of a truth I could no longer dodge. The dress lay across my chair, beside a box of unworn gold sandals I'd chosen to shimmer under wedding lights. On my desk, a velvet pouch held $5,000 in cash, saved for Lila and her husband, Nate, as a gift. All untouched, all pointless. Idly, I opened my phone and scrolled. There it was, Lila's wedding, splashed across social media. She glowed in a silk gown, Nate's arm around her, his parents toasting with wide grins. Her in-laws laughed, basking in their new family. I zoomed in, my chest tightening. That gown, she'd said she needed $1,200 for utilities. I'd sent it, thinking I was helping. Instead, I'd funded my exclusion. I was never in their story, I whispered, the realization a dull ache. Lila had once sworn, during a midnight chat, "Mom, you'll plan my wedding with me." That promise, now broken, cut deeper than the unused dress. A week later, the phone rang. Lila's voice, once sharp, now trembled. "Mom, we're behind on rent. The landlord's furious. You didn't send the money." Reflex nearly pulled me to my feet, as it had countless times, skipping my own needs, scraping by to ensure their comfort. But the coral dress, tucked away, anchored me. "Lila," I said, voice steady, "I only help those who value me." Silence. Her breath hitched. "Mom, that's harsh," she stammered. Harsh. The word stung, but not enough to sway me. "I'm busy," I said, hanging up. The quiet that followed felt new, unburdened. I poured tea, the steam curling like a promise. For once, I savored it without guilt, the warmth spreading through me like a first step. I spread bank statements across my table, $600 monthly rent for 48 months, $28,800. Groceries, repairs, loans never repaid, $15, 000 more. Total, $43,800. I stared at a photo of my late husband, James. "I spent your savings chasing her love," I murmured, shame burning. But clarity followed, sharp and bright. At the bank, I told Miss Harper, who'd handled my transfers for years, "Stop them all." She hesitated. "Mrs. Camden, you've never missed a payment." "Exactly," I replied. "It's time I see clearly." Outside, the world felt sharper, the air lighter. My money was mine again. Days later, I returned home to find Lila, Nate, and a man in a suit at my table, papers strewn like evidence of a crime. Lila's spare key glinted in Nate's hand. "Mom, we're worried," she cooed, voice syrupy. "Mr. Vance is here to help manage your finances. Temporarily." My pulse thundered. I grabbed the papers and tossed them into the bin. "The only thing leaving is you," I said, pointing to the door. They left, muttering threats, but the lock clicked behind them. I leaned against the door, trembling, knowing their love was a transaction, and they'd soon want more than my signature. 3 days later, a woman from Elder Services arrived, clipboard in hand. "Concerns about your mental health, Mrs. Camden." Lila's doing, I knew. I called my lawyer, Mr. Ellis. We showed her my records, bills paid, home tidy, life organized. She left, case closed. "This is elder abuse," Ellis warned. "They're after everything." That night, I dreamed of Lila as a child, giggling in my arms. But the dream shifted to her now, eyes cold, papers in hand. I woke, tears falling, love now a legal battle. A court letter arrived. Lila and Nate sought guardianship, claiming I was unfit. Witnesses included a nosy neighbor and a misled doctor. Ellis arranged a mental evaluation. Dr. Lee's tests were thorough, her verdict clear. "You're sharper than most, Mrs. Camden." Still, fear lingered. Courts could be swayed by tears. My neighbor, Clara, promised to testify, her loyalty a lifeline. "We see you, Joan. You're not alone." At the hearing, Lila's performance was flawless, tears glistening as she claimed I was erratic. Nate called me delusional. But Ellis dismantled their lies, exposing their financial demands. I took the stand, voice steady, recounting years of sacrifice, the wedding exclusion, the home invasion. The judge listened, eyes sharp. Hours later, he ruled, "Mrs. Camden is competent. This is exploitation. Petition denied." Lila's glare burned, but I stood tall. "Better alone than robbed," I whispered as they stormed out. I rewrote my will, directing my estate to elder protection charities. I sold my house, moved to a bright loft, and volunteered, sharing my story to empower others. One night, Lila texted, "Mom, let's talk." I replied, "Start with sorry, not a sum." I silenced my phone, stepped onto my balcony, and looked at the stars. To James, I whispered, "Love shouldn't cost my soul." The night air held me, and I was free, a woman, not a wallet, with a life finally mine.